Where are we? By now, you know the answer to that. We have visited this anomaly before. This truly inexplicable collection of strange and ancient life forms. There is no place like this place anywhere else on Earth. There is no ecosystem which has perfectly preserved the plants, animals, and environments from our planet's distant past in the way that this ecosystem has. A better question, though, than where are we, is when are we here? This is the island's western coast, as it would have looked 225 million years ago in the late Triassic period, a time when the Earth was much younger and dinosaurs were still new on the scene. During this period of prehistory, all modern landmasses had not yet separated and collectively formed the supercontinent Pangaea. This island was strange, even back then, simply for being isolated by miles of ocean. More recently on the island, this very beach has been discovered to hold vast numbers of fossils. Most are of marine life, relatively simple and small animals for the most part as well. But one fossil that was dug out of the rocks here truly stood out. Measuring an estimated 6 feet in length and discovered mere weeks ago, the bones of this specimen belong to Coelophysis, one of the most ancient dinosaurs known to man. She may have drifted to sea because of an unanticipated high tide, or perhaps a violent storm. Whatever the case may be, she drifted to this beach. And while we could be wrong, she certainly appears to be the first dinosaur ever to do so. The little predator, foremother to oh so many incredible life forms that would eventually dominate the mainland from which she came, looks around at her new and unfamiliar surroundings. She looks back one last time at the piece of driftwood that presumably saved her life. Then she runs off into the unknown lands of Dinosaur Island. The Northern Forest. This is one of the most stable ecosystems on the island. The drought that took hold of the north side in Season 3 has been virtually the only hardship that this area has ever gone through. All other droughts and climate swings on the north have been mild in comparison to that one fateful dry season. A large male Stegosaurus appears to be searching for something. Perhaps he's searching for his herd, as it is unusual to see such a herbivore away from a group. These animals used to dominate the entire island, but now they are only found in the north, for in the south they have been easily outcompeted by a myriad of more derived Cretaceous plant eaters. One day, they could disappear from this side of the island as well. However, for now at least, Stegosaurus is still by far the most common herbivore in the north. Besides, there are more immediate threats that this male ought to be concerned with. A pack of gigantic carnivores has been following him for days. They almost lost him when he wandered across a shallow watering hole, but it was only a few hours before they found his scent again. They are preparing to make their move. Here in the north, there are two primary types of large predators. This stegosaurus is either being hunted by large carnosaurs, such as Giganotosaurus, Acrocanthosaurus, or Carcharodontosaurus, perhaps even the much more rare Mapusaurus. Or he is being hunted by Tyrannosaurus rex. It appears the latter is true. This is Titus, a young male Tyrannosaurus. And Titus is not alone. Jane, skilled hunter and daughter of Bloodtooth, is with him. Jane wants desperately to strike, but Titus seems to think it is too early. She doesn't listen. The Stegosaurus bolts. But there is a third Tyrannosaurus here. This is Rose. She is the largest of her pack, the Alpha. Jane attacked early, and her reckless decision resulted in Titus being injured. Rose will not have this. Face biting is a method of reasserting dominance used by many carnivorous animals. Jane is unfortunately getting used to this. Her life has been harsh and difficult ever since her parents died. She thought that that might change after she killed Fang and Caroline, but things are not getting any easier. With her current place in the pecking order, Jane will be lucky to get any of this kill. These are the Eastern Plains, a large expanse of lush grass and sedge on the southeastern tip of the island. We were last here in Season 3 when Nigel was lost and the Utah Raptor pack was taking down a Brachiosaur in the pitch dark of the night. The first animal that has arrived here today to feed is this Ionosaurus. This is a relatively uncommon species of ceratopsid, of which we have never seen the likes of before. This male is named Ernest. We have been following him for months. He doesn't stay with a consistent herd, and we're also unsure of his age. He acts quite young, but his cranial ornamentation appears fully matured. He is an odd subject indeed. Out in the rest of the Eastern Plains, we see some more familiar southern animals, like this Medusaceratops and this nearby iguanodon. But there are also new species living in the area. While we have seen many early Cretaceous ankylosaurids in the south before, such as Sauropelta and Gastonia, younger, more derived ankylosaurids are becoming more common here, like this Ankylosaurus. She is one of the largest of her kind that we have seen on the island. She is barely 30 feet long, but weighs over 8 tons. A few meters away, we see another strange new herbivore. We have been observing Saltosaurus on the south side for years, but a new mid-sized titanosaur has entered the scene, Malawisaurus. At almost 40 feet long, this individual is a truly massive beast, and he's not even fully grown. But he is not the largest animal here. Making a stop during their treacherous migration arrives a 25-ton colossus. This is an adult female Camarasaurus. She is an ancient giant from the Jurassic period. And she is not alone. In the past, we have seen Camarasaurus herd with their close relative Brachiosaurus. But recently, these large multi-species sauropod herds that we have been observing on the island for so long are showing signs of higher levels of species diversity. These Camarasaurs are herded with an adult mother Diplodocus. She is 90 feet long and has a strikingly different body shape than the Camarasaurs. It seems that this higher level of physical variation within a herd such as this one provides an advantage. We're just not sure what that is yet. Another Diplodocus arrives. This is the female's subadult son, and we have seen him before. This is in fact the mother Diplodocus we met in Season 2 of the series, and her now nearly 70-foot-long son was the tiny sauropodlet that Silas nearly consumed. He is a decade old now, but still not fully grown. Diplodocus can live up to 100 years, and the first 20 to 30 of those are spent growing. But the eastern prairie holds danger as well. It runs right along the edge of the dark woodland, making it a prime hunting ground for the 4 deadly killers that we all know live there. The sedge grass is just tall enough to conceal them, while remaining low enough to prompt a false sense of security in the herbivores. Katana runs out towards the herd. She is not trying to attack anything. Her job is to simply break up the group. Razor breaks into a full run to help scatter the herd. Razor's arm has been crushed by the foot of the escaping Camarasaurus, his wing feathers coated in dirt and blood, and his arm bones shattered. He runs off to find his pack. It appears their chosen prey is the other Camarasaurus. They likely didn't expect to get this lucky and end up with a soon-to-be food source as large as this one. But this Camarasaurus is hardly fighting back and isn't trying to run either. He is likely sick or extremely old. The pack doesn't even have to kill the massive animal in one blow. They can keep attacking him and wait for blood loss and exhaustion to do their work for them. Switchblade eyes his father's wound. But Razor assures him he'll be all right. As he stares out onto the sunlit eastern plains, the Camarasaur collapses. And the Utah Raptors, Razor, Switchblade, Katana, and Shredder now have food for weeks if they can defend this kill from scavengers. But the young male Diplodocus is still running. Finally, he stops, not able to keep up such fast movement for any longer. He breathes quietly, trying not to attract attention. A rustling in the distant trees puts him back on edge. But the noise was only Ernest. These two have now both found themselves well and truly lost, alone in the southern forests of the island with only each other for protection. We will name this Diplodocus Doyle. Together, these two now must keep themselves alive and find a way back to a herd. And in this area, a new kind of danger has just recently begun to lurk. Back in the northern forest, Jane is walking out to a nearby stream to drink. When she reaches the water's edge, another large animal arrives. William, the male Bichon Long. His strange and bird-like body is a familiar sight in this area. It appears he has decided that sharing a river with Jane isn't worth the risk. Jane quenches her thirst. It's the least that she can do for herself, as she is still rather hungry. Rose calls for her, beckoning for her to return to the pack. Jane catches her breath, then begins to move back into the shadows of the forest.